The Sorority House Secret, Part 2 of 8. Maya didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed reading Victoria's journal by flashlight while Jessica snored softly across the room. October 23, 1994. The third task was in the basement. They made us sit in the dark for 3 hours. No talking, no moving, just listening. And I swear something was down there with us. Something that wasn't human. Sarah started crying. They made her start over. Another 3 hours. When the lights came on, there were marks on the walls, scratches, like something had been trying to get out. Maya's phone buzzed at 2:47 a.m. A text from an unknown number. You found the journal. Good. Now find the truth. Check the basement. Southwest corner, behind the furnace. The door with no handle. She stared at the message. Who had her number? Who knew about the journal? She typed back, "Who is this?" 3 dots appeared. Then, someone who survived, someone who got out, someone who's been waiting 30 years for someone brave enough to stop it. Stop what? The cycle, it happens every 30 years. 1964, 1994, 2024, you're next, unless you break the pattern. Maya looked at Jessica, still sleeping. She grabbed her phone, slipped on shoes, and crept downstairs. The house was silent. Every creak sounded like thunder. She found the basement door behind the kitchen, electronic lock. She tried the handle. It clicked open by itself. The door swung inward, revealing stairs descending into darkness. Maya descended. The basement was massive. New concrete floors, LED lights, modern HVAC. But in the far corner, the renovation ended. Old stone walls, dirt floor, ancient beams. Southwest corner, behind the furnace. The temperature dropped as she approached. Her breath came out in clouds. Behind the furnace was a section of wall with newer stones that didn't quite match. Maya pushed. It swung inward, revealing a narrow passageway. The smell made her gag. Decay, mold, something sweet and rotten. The passage walls were original 1887 stone, carved with symbols. The same symbols from the mirror in her room, from the photograph. The passage led to a small chamber. In the center stood a door. Black iron covered in symbols. No handle, no keyhole, no obvious way to open it. Maya touched it, ice cold. And the moment her skin made contact, she heard whispering. Hundreds of voices all speaking at once. Desperate, fearful, hungry. She jerked her hand back. On the ground in front of the door, partially covered by dirt, were bones. Human bones. Small ones, maybe from hands or feet. Some yellowed with age. Some newer, still white. Her phone buzzed. Now you know. The door has been here since 1887. The sorority was founded to guard it, to keep it sealed. But somewhere along the way, they forgot what they were guarding. Started worshiping it instead. Feeding it. Feeding it what? Maya typed. What do you think happened to those 7 girls? Maya stared at the bones. Some looked 30 years old. Another text. Every 30 years the door weakens. Needs to be resealed. With blood. With sacrifice. With 7 willing souls who think they're joining a sisterhood. Who are you? I'm what's left of Victoria, not the girl who wrote that journal. What came back? What crawled out of that door after 6 days? What's been living with the memory for 30 years? Maya's blood went cold. Victoria was alive. I escaped, but I had to make a deal. One gets out, but only if she brings the next cycle. I've been fighting it for 30 years, refusing. That's why I texted you. Maybe if someone knows the truth, they can stop it. Footsteps above. Someone was in the basement. Wait, Maya typed. There's more. Your Aunt Alina. She wasn't in the pledge class that died, but she was one of the senior sisters who performed the ritual, who locked those 7 girls in the chamber, who walked away and pretended it never happened. Maya's world tilted. You're lying. Check the journal. Last entry. Alina Hartwell is one of 7 names. The footsteps were getting closer. Maya ran back into the main basement. hiding behind a support column. Professor Morrison descended the stairs. With her were the two older women from the meeting, Margaret Ashford and another. "The door is weakening faster than expected," Morrison said. "We may need to move up the timeline." "We can't," Margaret replied. "The ritual must be performed on October 27th, the exact anniversary. Then we need to ensure none of the pledges discover anything before then. Someone's been in the old section." Maya held her breath. "Could be the house settling," the third woman said. "Or someone snooping." Morrison walked toward the furnace. "We should have sealed this completely." "We can't. We need access for the final night, for the delivery." "Delivery?" They said it like the pledges were packages. Morrison stopped near Maya's hiding spot. "I smell perfume. Someone was here recently." Maya's phone buzzed, loud in the silence. All three women turned. Maya ran, up the stairs, through the kitchen, up the main staircase. She burst into her room and slammed the door. Jessica sat up. "Maya, what?" "We have to leave. Now, this whole thing is wrong." "What are you talking about?" Maya grabbed the journal. "Read the last entry." Jessica flipped to the final page. Her face went pale. October 27, 1994, 11:47 p.m. I'm writing this in the dark with shaking hands. We're in the chamber, behind the door with no handle. The 7 senior sisters performed the ritual, chanting in a language I don't recognize. They said we'd be reborn as true sisters. They lied. The door is opening. Something's coming through. Ancient, hungry. The other girls are screaming. Sarah's gone, just gone, pulled into darkness. I'm next. I can feel it reaching for me. If anyone finds this, we didn't want this. We were tricked, sacrificed. The ones who did it: Diane Morrison, Margaret Ashford, Catherine Winters, Elizabeth Thorne, Susan Park, Helen Rodriguez, and Alina Hartwell. Don't trust them, don't believe them. And whatever you do, don't. The entry ended. The rest was blank except for a dark smear. Blood, probably. Jessica looked up. "Your aunt's name is in here." "I know." There was a knock on the door. Professor Morrison's voice. "Maya, we need to talk." "Don't," Jessica whispered. "I know you went to the basement. I know what you found. But you don't understand. Let me explain." "Explain what?" Maya shouted. "That you're planning to kill us." Silence. "Then, it's not that simple. The ritual is a transformation. Yes, some don't survive, but those who do become part of something greater. Your aunt survived. That's why she encouraged you to come here." "What does she have?" "Power, influence, immortality. She's 63 but looks 40. Senior partner at the most prestigious law firm in Boston. Never sick. That's what the ritual offers, if you're strong enough to survive." Jessica grabbed Maya's arm. "Call the police." Maya tried. No signal. Jessica's phone was the same. Morrison laughed through the door. "The house is shielded. No signals during pledge month. And you signed the contract. 4 weeks. The legal paperwork is airtight." They were trapped. 20 girls in a house with women planning sacrifice. "What happens now?" Maya asked. "You have a choice. Fight this and be dragged into the chamber screaming on October 27th. Those never survive or embrace the ritual, go willingly. Some survive, maybe thrive. Your aunt did. So did I. We were all pledges once. I choose to leave." "That's not an option. You'll be in that chamber October 27th. The only question is whether you walk in or get dragged." Footsteps retreated. Maya and Jessica stared at each other. 26 days until October 27th. 26 days to escape. To stop a ritual that had run for over a century. Somewhere in Boston, Aunt Alina sat in her expensive apartment, looking 40 at 63, waiting for her niece to either die or become a monster. Morrison said there was a choice. But Maya was going to make her own choice. She was going to burn this whole thing down. Subscribe to the channel to find out how. The Sorority House Secret, Part 2 of 8. Maya didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed reading Victoria's journal by flashlight while Jessica snored softly across the room. October 23, 1994. The third task was in the basement. They made us sit in the dark for 3 hours. No talking, no moving, just listening. And I swear something was down there with us. Something that wasn't human. Sarah started crying. They made her start over. Another 3 hours. When the lights came on, there were marks on the walls, scratches, like something had been trying to get out. Maya's phone buzzed at 2:47 a.m. A text from an unknown number. You found the journal. Good. Now find the truth. Check the basement. Southwest corner, behind the furnace. The door with no handle. She stared at the message. Who had her number? Who knew about the journal? She typed back, who is this? 3 dots appeared. Then, someone who survived, someone who got out, someone who's been waiting 30 years for someone brave enough to stop it. Stop what? The cycle, it happens every 30 years. 1964, 1994, 2024, you're next, unless you break the pattern. Maya looked at Jessica, still sleeping. She grabbed her phone, slipped on shoes, and crept downstairs. The house was silent. Every creak sounded like thunder. She found the basement door behind the kitchen, electronic lock. She tried the handle. It clicked open by itself. The door swung inward, revealing stairs descending into darkness. Maya descended. The basement was massive. New concrete floors, LED lights, modern HVAC. But in the far corner, the renovation ended. Old stone walls, dirt floor, ancient beams. Southwest corner, behind the furnace. The temperature dropped as she approached. Her breath came out in clouds. Behind the furnace was a section of wall with newer stones that didn't quite match. Maya pushed. It swung inward, revealing a narrow passageway. The smell made her gag. Decay, mold, something sweet and rotten. The passage walls were original 1887 stone, carved with symbols. The same symbols from the mirror in her room, from the photograph. The passage led to a small chamber. In the center stood a door. Black iron covered in symbols. No handle, no keyhole, no obvious way to open it. Maya touched it, ice cold. And the moment her skin made contact, she heard whispering. Hundreds of voices all speaking at once. Desperate, fearful, hungry. She jerked her hand back. On the ground in front of the door, partially covered by dirt, were bones. Human bones. Small ones, maybe from hands or feet. Some yellowed with age. Some newer, still white. Her phone buzzed. Now you know. The door has been here since 1887. The sorority was founded to guard it, to keep it sealed. But somewhere along the way, they forgot what they were guarding, started worshiping it instead, feeding it. Feeding it what? Maya typed. What do you think happened to those 7 girls? Maya stared at the bones. Some looked 30 years old. Another text. Every 30 years the door weakens, needs to be resealed, with blood, with sacrifice, with 7 willing souls who think they're joining a sisterhood. Who are you? I'm what's left of Victoria, not the girl who wrote that journal. What came back? What crawled out of that door after 6 days? What's been living with the memory for 30 years? Maya's blood went cold. Victoria was alive. I escaped, but I had to make a deal. One gets out, but only if she brings the next cycle. I've been fighting it for 30 years, refusing. That's why I texted you. Maybe if someone knows the truth, they can stop it. Footsteps above. Someone was in the basement. Wait, Maya typed. There's more. Your Aunt Alina. She wasn't in the pledge class that died, but she was one of the senior sisters who performed the ritual, who locked those 7 girls in the chamber, who walked away and pretended it never happened. Maya's world tilted. You're lying. Check the journal. Last entry. Alina Hartwell is one of 7 names. The footsteps were getting closer. Maya ran back into the main basement, hiding behind a support column. Professor Morrison descended the stairs. With her were the two older women from the meeting, Margaret Ashford and another. The door is weakening faster than expected, Morrison said. We may need to move up the timeline. We can't, Margaret replied. The ritual must be performed on October 27th, the exact anniversary. Then we need to ensure none of the pledges discover anything before then. Someone's been in the old section. Maya held her breath. Could be the house settling, the third woman said. Or someone snooping. Morrison walked toward the furnace. We should have sealed this completely. We can't. We need access for the final night, for the delivery. Delivery? They said it like the pledges were packages. Morrison stopped near Maya's hiding spot. I smell perfume. Someone was here recently. Maya's phone buzzed, loud in the silence. All three women turned. Maya ran, up the stairs, through the kitchen, up the main staircase. She burst into her room and slammed the door. Jessica sat up. Maya, what? We have to leave. Now, this whole thing is wrong. What are you talking about? Maya grabbed the journal. Read the last entry. Jessica flipped to the final page. Her face went pale. October 27, 1994, 11:47 p.m. I'm writing this in the dark with shaking hands. We're in the chamber, behind the door with no handle. The 7 senior sisters performed the ritual, chanting in a language I don't recognize. They said we'd be reborn as true sisters. They lied. The door is opening. Something's coming through. Ancient, hungry. The other girls are screaming. Sarah's gone, just gone, pulled into darkness. I'm next. I can feel it reaching for me. If anyone finds this, we didn't want this. We were tricked, sacrificed. The ones who did it, Diane Morrison, Margaret Ashford, Catherine Winters, Elizabeth Thorne, Susan Park, Helen Rodriguez, and Alina Hartwell. Don't trust them, don't believe them. And whatever you do, don't. The entry ended. The rest was blank except for a dark smear. Blood, probably. Jessica looked up. Your aunt's name is in here. I know. There was a knock on the door. Professor Morrison's voice. Maya, we need to talk. Don't, Jessica whispered. I know you went to the basement. I know what you found. But you don't understand. Let me explain. Explain what? Maya shouted. That you're planning to kill us. Silence. Then, it's not that simple. The ritual is a transformation. Yes, some don't survive, but those who do become part of something greater. Your aunt survived. That's why she encouraged you to come here. What does she have? Power, influence, immortality. She's 63 but looks 40. Senior partner at the most prestigious law firm in Boston. Never sick. That's what the ritual offers, if you're strong enough to survive. Jessica grabbed Maya's arm. Call the police. Maya tried. No signal. Jessica's phone was the same. Morrison laughed through the door. The house is shielded. No signals during pledge month. And you signed the contract. 4 weeks. The legal paperwork is airtight. They were trapped. 20 girls in a house with women planning sacrifice. What happens now? Maya asked. You have a choice. Fight this and be dragged into the chamber screaming on October 27th. Those never survive or embrace the ritual, go willingly. Some survive, maybe thrive. Your aunt did. So did I. We were all pledges once. I choose to leave. That's not an option. You'll be in that chamber October 27th. The only question is whether you walk in or get dragged. Footsteps retreated. Maya and Jessica stared at each other. 26 days until October 27th. 26 days to escape. To stop a ritual that had run for over a century. Somewhere in Boston, Aunt Alina sat in her expensive apartment, looking 40 at 63, waiting for her niece to either die or become a monster. Morrison said there was a choice. But Maya was going to make her own choice. She was going to burn this whole thing down. Subscribe to the channel to find out how. The Sorority House Secret, Part 3 of 8. Maya spent the next day planning. If they couldn't leave and couldn't call for help, They needed to find another way to stop the ritual, and that meant understanding exactly what they were dealing with. During lunch in the communal dining room, she watched the other 18 pledges. They were laughing, bonding, excited about their new sisterhood. None of them knew they were being fattened for slaughter. She caught Jessica's eye across the table. Jessica gave a small nod. They'd agreed on a plan that morning. Act normal, don't raise suspicion, and quietly try to find allies among the other pledges. But as Maya looked around the room, she realized a terrible truth. Some of these girls might survive. Morrison had said some make it through the transformation, which meant some of these laughing, innocent faces would become monsters like her aunt, would lock the next generation of pledges in that chamber 30 years from now. After lunch, Professor Morrison announced the first official task would begin that evening. The basement vigil, 3 hours alone in the dark. You'll each be assigned a time slot, Morrison said, smiling warmly, like she was describing a fun game instead of the first step toward human sacrifice. This task teaches you to face your fears, to find strength in silence, to trust the darkness. Maya's slot was 9 p.m. to midnight. Jessica had 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. As the pledges dispersed, a girl approached Maya. She was small, Asian, with sharp eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Maya remembered her from introductions. Priya Sharma, pre-med from California. You found something, Priya said quietly, not a question. Maya tensed. What? In your room, yesterday, you and Jessica came down looking terrified. And last night you went to the basement. I heard you come back up. I don't know what you're talking about. My room is right below yours. The floorboards are thin. I heard everything. The fight with Morrison, the journal, your aunt's name. Priya glanced around, making sure no one was listening. I did some research before coming here about what happened in 1994. 7 girls vanished. No bodies, no investigation. Just a quiet settlement with the families and the whole thing buried. That's not normal. Maya studied her. Could she trust this girl? My sister was supposed to pledge here, Priya continued, in 1994, but she got mono the week before and had to withdraw. She always said it was the luckiest thing that ever happened to her. I never understood why until I came here and felt how wrong this place is. Maya made a decision. Meet me in the library at 4 p.m. Bring anyone you think we can trust, but be careful, they're watching. At 4 p.m., Maya and Jessica arrived at the small library in the east wing of the house. Priya was already there. With her were 3 other girls. This is Rachel, Priya said, indicating a tall black girl with braids. She's been having nightmares since she moved in. Always the same dream. 7 girls in red robes standing in a circle chanting. Rachel nodded. I thought I was just stressed, but then I heard what you found. This is Amy and Chen, Priya continued, pointing to 2 more girls. 1 white with red hair, 1 Chinese. Roommates, they found something too. Amy pulled out a photograph. Old, faded, dated 1964. 7 girls in crimson robes standing in the exact same spot as the 1994 photo Maya had found. We found a box in our closet, Amy said, hidden behind a loose board. It had this photo and a letter. She handed Maya a yellowed envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. To whoever finds this, we were the pledge class of 1964. They told us the ritual was an honor, a tradition going back to the founding. They lied. 6 of us died in that chamber. Only I survived. And what I became. I'm not human anymore. I don't age, don't get sick, don't feel warmth or cold or hunger like I used to. I traded my humanity for power, and I've regretted it every day for the last 30 years. The next cycle is 1994. I can't stop it. The deal I made binds me, but maybe whoever reads this can break the chain. The ritual requires 7 willing participants. If even one refuses, truly refuses in her heart, the door won't open. That's the key. True refusal, not fear, not hesitation, complete rejection of what's offered. I was too weak. I wanted what they promised. Don't make my mistake. Margaret Ashford, 1964. Maya's hands shook. Margaret Ashford, she's here. She's one of the senior advisors. The letter is 60 years old, Chen said. If she wrote it in 1964, she'd be, what, 80, 90? She looks 60, Rachel whispered. Maybe younger. They sat in silence, processing the implications. So the ritual actually works, Amy finally said. It's not just a story, it really does give them immortality, youth, power. At the cost of 6 lives every 30 years, Jessica added. 6 deaths for one survivor who becomes a monster. Not necessarily 6, Maya said, thinking. The 1964 letter says 6 died, but Victoria from 1994 survived. That's 2 survivors in one cycle. Maybe the ratio varies. Or maybe Victoria was lying, Priya suggested. Maybe she's working with them, leading us into a trap. She told me about the door, Maya countered. Warned me. Why would she do that if she's on their side? Because, a new voice said from the doorway, she has to. They all spun around. Standing in the library entrance was a woman in her 50s. Thin, pale, with dark circles under her eyes. She looked sick, exhausted, like she hadn't slept in years. I'm Victoria, the woman said, and I've been waiting for you. Maya stood, backing away. How did you get in? The house is locked. I was a pledge here. Part of me never left. Victoria stepped into the room. The deal I made to escape wasn't just about bringing the next cycle. I'm bound to this house. I can't enter freely, but when someone inside opens the door for me spiritually, by seeking the truth, I can manifest for short periods. This is insane, Rachel breathed. Yes, it is. Victoria's smile was sad. I've been insane for 30 years. Ever since I crawled out of that chamber changed, cursed, neither fully alive nor properly dead. What happened in there? Maya asked. In the chamber behind the door. Victoria's eyes went distant. We thought it would be a ceremony. Candles, chanting, maybe some theatrical scares. Instead, they sealed us in and the door opened. And what came through? She shuddered. It wasn't a demon, wasn't a ghost. It was older than that. Something that existed before humans had names for things. It feeds on potential, on youth, on the life force of people standing at the threshold of their future. That's why it wants college girls. We're at the peak of our potential. Our whole lives ahead of us. When it consumes that, it grows stronger. And the ones who survive, Priya asked, become vessels. We carry a piece of it inside us. That's what gives us the immortality, the power. We're not human anymore. We're hybrids, part flesh, part that thing behind the door. And every 30 years, it needs to feed again to maintain the connection, to keep us alive and powerful. Why 7? Chen asked. 7 is the number of the original binding. In 1887, 7 women made the first deal. 7 lives in exchange for immortality. The ritual recreates that binding every generation. 7 new girls. 1 survives and joins the sisterhood. The others become food. That's 6 deaths per cycle, Jessica calculated. Over 137 years. That's almost 30 cycles. Around 180 dead girls. 186, Victoria corrected quietly. I've counted. I remember every name. Maya felt sick. How do we stop it? That's the problem. I don't know if you can. The Margaret Ashford from 1964 was right. If someone truly refuses, the ritual breaks. But truly refusing is almost impossible when you're actually in that chamber. The fear, the pressure, the promise of power, the thing behind the door whispering in your mind, showing you everything you could have if you just say yes. I couldn't resist it. None of us could. But you survived, Amy said. You refused something. I refused to stay. After the door opened, after the thing took the others, it offered me a choice. Stay and become fully consumed, or leave but remain bound, forced to help it continue. I chose to leave, but I've regretted it every day since. There has to be another way, Maya insisted. Victoria looked at her with hollow eyes. There's one, but it requires sacrifice of a different kind. What? The door is a binding point, an anchor between our world and where that thing comes from. In 1887, the 7 founders created it deliberately, using their own blood and a ritual from a very old book. If you can find that book, you might be able to reverse the binding. Close the door permanently. Where's the book? I don't know. The senior sisters guard it, keep it hidden. I've been searching for 30 years and never found it. Priya pulled out her phone. If it's in this house, we can find it. We have 26 days and 20 pairs of eyes. 20 minus 6, Rachel corrected. Some of these girls want what's offered. I've heard them talking. They think it's just a fun ritual. They'd probably say yes if given the choice. Then we find the book, Maya said firmly. We close the door, and we make sure this never happens again. Victoria smiled, and for a moment she looked young, hopeful. You might actually do it. You're braver than I was. What happens to you if we succeed? Jessica asked. If we close the door permanently? Victoria's smile faded. I'll die. The piece of that thing inside me is all that's keeping me alive. Without it, I'll age 30 years in seconds, but I'm ready. I've been ready for a long time. A bell rang somewhere in the house. 6 p.m. Time for the first basement vigil. I have to go, Victoria said, already fatting. They'll sense me if I stay too long. Find the book. And Maya, be careful tonight. The basement is where it starts to test you, to whisper promises. Don't listen. She vanished. The 6 girls looked at each other. So, Priya said, we're really doing this, going against immortal sorority sisters and an ancient evil entity. Maya thought of the bones in the chamber, the scratched-out photo, Victoria's haunted eyes, her aunt's lies. Yes, she said, we're really doing this. Jessica stood. I should get ready. My vigil starts in 10 minutes. Maya grabbed her hand. Remember what Victoria said. Don't listen to the whispers. What if I'm not strong enough? You are, I know you are. Jessica left for the basement. And Maya, Priya, Rachel, Amy, and Chen began planning how to search a house full of monsters for a book that might not exist. Outside, the sun set behind the crimson house, and the shadows grew long. In the basement, Jessica descended the stairs alone. And behind the iron door in the hidden chamber, something ancient woke up and smiled. The harvest was beginning. Subscribe to the channel to find out what happens next. The Sorority House Secret, Part 4 of 8. Jessica returned from her basement vigil at 9 p.m. looking pale but intact. She pulled Maya aside immediately. It talked to me, she whispered. The thing behind the door, I couldn't see it, but I heard it, inside my head. What did it say? It knew things about my family, my secrets. It told me my mother has cancer, stage 2. She hasn't told anyone yet, not even my dad, but the thing knew. And it said if I accept the ritual, it could fix her, make the cancer disappear. Maya grabbed Jessica's shoulders. You can't believe it. But what if it's true? What if my mom really is sick and this is the only way to save her? It's manipulation. It shows you what you want to see, promises what you most desire. That's how it traps you. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. I have to call my mom. I have to know. There's no signal, remember. Then I need to leave. Right now, before my vigil tonight, before. You can't leave. They won't let you. And if you try to run, they'll just drag you to the chamber anyway. The only way out is through. We have to find that book and close the door. At 9 p.m., Maya descended to the basement for her own vigil. Professor Morrison was waiting at the bottom of the stairs with a candle. 3 hours, Morrison said, handing her the candle. Sit in the center of the room. Don't move. Don't speak. Just listen and reflect. At midnight, I'll come get you. What if I need to leave before then? Morrison smiled. You won't. The door locks from the outside for your safety. She left and Maya heard the lock click. The basement was vast and dark. Her single candle created a small circle of light. Beyond that, pure darkness. Maya sat in the center of the floor and waited. For the first hour, nothing happened. She could hear the house settling above her, pipes creaking, the furnace humming. Then the candle flame began to flicker, though there was no breeze. A voice whispered from the darkness, young, female, familiar. Maya. She froze. That was her mother's voice, but her mother had died when Maya was 12. Maya, sweetheart, I'm here. You're not real, Maya said to the darkness. I'm as real as you want me to be. The door can bring me back. Give you more time. All those years we lost, we could have them. Maya closed her eyes. My mother is dead. You're just a trick. Is comfort a trick? Is love? You've been alone for so long. Your aunt tried, but she's not family, not really. She's one of us now, but you could be too. You could have power, influence everything she has, and you could see me again. The voice shifted, became older, her Aunt Alina. Maya, I sent you here because I love you. I want you to have what I have, to be strong, to never fear aging or sickness or death. Yes, 6 girls will die, that's regrettable, but one will ascend. Why not you? You're smart, strong, determined. You could survive the ritual, join me in the sisterhood. You murdered 6 girls, Maya said quietly. I gave 1 girl eternal life. It's a trade, 6 for 1, and the 6 were weak. They would have lived ordinary lives and died ordinary deaths. Instead, their potential fed something greater. That's not murder, that's evolution. Maya felt rage building. They were people, they had futures, families, dreams. And now their energy powers something magnificent, powers me, powers Margaret, powers all of us who were strong enough to survive. You could be next. The darkness seemed to press closer. The candle flame bent sideways, drawn toward something Maya couldn't see. I know what you're planning, Alina's voice continued. Looking for the book, trying to close the door. It won't work. The book is hidden where you'll never find it. And even if you did, you don't have the power to unmake a binding that's lasted 137 years. Then why are you worried? Silence, then laughter. Not Alina's voice anymore, something older, deeper, wrong. I'm not worried, child. I'm amused. You think you're the first to try. Every cycle there's one. One girl who thinks she can break the chain. In 1964, a girl named Catherine tried. She died screaming in the chamber. In 1994, a girl named Diana tried. She's one of the bones you saw. And in 2024, it's you. Another name to add to the list of failures. Victoria survived. Victoria broke. She accepted the deal to escape. That's not surviving, that's surrender. And now she's bound to help us whether she wants to or not. Her warning to you was permitted. Her appearance was allowed. Because it doesn't matter what you know. You can't stop what's coming. The candle went out. Maya sat in complete darkness, her heart hammering. Footsteps echoed from somewhere in the basement. Slow, deliberate, coming closer. Who's there? Maya called out. No answer, just the footsteps getting closer. Maya stood, fumbling for her phone. The flashlight clicked on, cutting through the dark. Nothing, the basement was empty. But the footsteps continued, behind her now. She spun, still nothing. Then she felt it, breath on the back of her neck, cold, rotten. A whisper directly in her ear, say yes. Maya ran. She didn't care about the vigil, didn't care about looking weak. She ran for the stairs and pounded on the locked door. Let me out, Morrison, someone. The footsteps came up behind her. She felt hands, cold, impossible hands, touch her shoulders. Say yes and it stops. Say yes and you get everything you want. Say yes and... The door opened. Maya fell through, landing on the hallway floor. Professor Morrison stood above her, looking disappointed. It's only been 2 hours. I don't care, I'm done. The vigil is 3 hours. Those are the rules. Then change the rules. Morrison crouched down, her face inches from Maya's. You felt it, heard it, and you ran. That's weakness. The ritual doesn't accept weakness. Good, I don't want to be accepted. You don't have a choice, Morrison stood. You'll complete your vigil now, go back down. No. Morrison pulled out her phone and pressed a button. Two large men appeared from the shadows. Campus security, but their eyes were wrong, empty. These are my assistants. They ensure pledges complete their tasks. You can walk back down or they'll carry you. Your choice. Maya looked at the two men. They were massive, blank-faced, clearly under some kind of control. She walked back down. Morrison locked the door behind her. This time, Maya didn't sit in the center. She went straight to the hidden passage behind the furnace. If she was stuck down here for another hour, she might as well search for the book. The passage was dark and narrow. She used her phone light to navigate. The symbols on the walls seemed to move in the shadows, rearranging themselves. She reached the chamber with the iron door. The bones were still scattered around it, and something new had been added. A message written in what looked like fresh blood on the floor. The book is where the first blood was spilled. Maya's phone buzzed. A text from Victoria, the attic, northeast corner, where the founders performed the original ritual in 1887. Be careful, it's protected. Maya ran back through the passage up the stairs. The door was unlocked now. She rushed to the third floor, past her own room to the northeast corner. There was a door she'd never noticed before. Small, old, with a symbol carved into the wood that matched the ones in the basement. Maya tried the handle, locked. She looked at the symbol more carefully. It wasn't just decorative. It was a puzzle. 7 interlocking pieces that could be rotated. She remembered the photograph. 7 girls in a circle, 7 founders. Maya rotated the pieces, arranging them to form a circle, 7 points connecting. The lock clicked. The door opened. Inside was a tiny room, no bigger than a closet, empty except for a single pedestal, and on that pedestal sat a book. Old, leather-bound, covered in symbols that hurt to look at directly. Maya reached for it. The moment her fingers touched the leather, pain exploded through her hand. She pulled back, gasping. The skin of her palm was burned, showing the outline of the symbols from the book's cover. A voice behind her. It's blood-locked. Only those who have accepted the ritual can touch it. Maya spun. Professor Morrison stood in the doorway, smiling. Did you really think it would be that easy? That we'd leave our most precious possession unguarded? Morrison stepped into the room. This book contains the original binding ritual, the words that created the door, the symbols that keep it sealed and operational. Destroying it would kill all of us who have accepted the power. We'd age instantly, die within seconds. Then I'll find another way. There is no other way. The only path forward is through the door. Accept the ritual or die refusing it. Those are your options. Maya looked at the book, at her burned hand, at Morrison's confident smile. My aunt, does she know I'm here, that you're trying to force me into this? Your aunt is the one who suggested we start with you for the basement vigil. She wanted you to feel the power early, to be tempted, to understand what you could have. Morrison's smile widened. She loves you. That's why she wants you to survive, to join her in immortality. Maya felt something break inside her. Her aunt had betrayed her, sent her here knowing exactly what would happen. Hopping Maya would become a monster like her. I'll never be like you, Maya said. We'll see. You have 24 days left. 24 days of tasks, each one designed to wear you down, to make you want the power, to make you willing to say yes when the moment comes. Morrison turned to leave. Midnight. Your vigil is complete. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's task is harder. She left, locking the door to the book room behind her. Maya stood alone in the hallway, her burned hand throbbing. She pulled out her phone and texted the group. Found the book. Can't touch it. Need new plan. Priya responded immediately. There's always another way. We just have to find it. But as Maya walked back to her room, passing windows that looked out over the dark campus, she wondered if Priya was right. Maybe there was no other way. Maybe the only real choice was which way to die. And in the basement behind the iron door, something laughed. Subscribe to the channel to find out what happens next. The Sorority House Secret, Part 5 of 8. Maya woke to someone shaking her shoulder. She opened her eyes to find Priya standing over her bed, looking terrified. "Two girls are gone," Priya whispered. "Vanished during the night." Maya sat up. "What, who?" "Emma and Kayla. Their beds are empty. Their stuff is still here, but they're just gone." Jessica was already awake, pulling on clothes. Maybe they ran, found a way out. "Or Morrison disappeared them early," Maya said darkly. "To scare us, to show us what happens if we don't cooperate." They went downstairs. The remaining 18 pledges were gathered in the main parlor, murmuring anxiously. Professor Morrison stood in front of the fireplace, looking grave. "Emma Larson and Kayla Chen have withdrawn from the pledge process," Morrison announced. "Last night, after completing their basement vigils, they decided this wasn't the right fit for them. We called their families and arranged transportation. They left at 3 a.m. "Bullshit," Rachel said loudly. "Emma was my roommate. She didn't pack anything, didn't say goodbye. She wouldn't just leave." Morrison's eyes hardened. "Are you calling me a liar, Miss Torres?" "I'm saying something's wrong. Two girls don't just vanish in the middle of the night." "They didn't vanish, they left. If you'd like to join them, the door is open. Anyone who wants to withdraw can do so now. No judgment, no consequences." The room fell silent. Maya could see the calculation in the other girl's eyes. Was it a trap? Would leaving mean something worse? No one moved. "Good," Morrison said. "Then we continue. Today's task is trust. You'll be working in pairs, one blindfolded, one guiding. You'll navigate the house together, learning to rely on your sister completely." She began assigning pairs. Maya was partnered with a girl named Sophie Martinez, tall, athletic, quiet. Maya had barely spoken to her before. "Maya, you'll be blindfolded first," Morrison said, handing her a crimson silk scarf. "Sophie will guide you through the house to retrieve an object from each room. You have 1 hour." Maya tied the scarf around her eyes. Everything went dark. Sophie's hand gripped her elbow. "Okay, we're starting in the parlor, 3 steps forward." Maya walked carefully. Sophie guided her around furniture through doorways. They collected objects from different rooms. A book from the library, a spoon from the kitchen, a pillow from a bedroom. But as they moved deeper into the house, Sophie's grip got tighter, more urgent. "Something's wrong," Sophie whispered. "The hallways are changing. This isn't the same layout we walked through yesterday." "What do you mean?" "We went through that door 3 times. Each time it leads somewhere different. First to a bedroom, then to a bathroom, just now to another hallway I've never seen before." Maya reached for the blindfold. "Don't," Sophie hissed. "Morrison is watching. If we break the rules, I don't know what happens." They continued walking. The temperature dropped. Maya could feel it even through the blindfold. "Where are we?" she asked. "I don't know this part of the house. It shouldn't exist. We're on the 1st floor, but somehow we've climbed stairs, and the walls are different. Old stone instead of plaster." Maya's stomach dropped. "Are we in the basement section?" "We can't be. We never went down, but it looks like, oh God." What do you see?" Sophie's breathing quickened. "There's a door ahead, iron door, covered in symbols, and there's something written on the floor in front of it." "What does it say?" "Your name, Maya Hartwell, and a message. She's ready, bring her through." Maya ripped off the blindfold. They were standing in the hidden chamber. The iron door loomed in front of them, and on the ground, written in what looked like fresh blood, was exactly what Sophie described. "How did we get here?" Sophie backed away. "We never went through the furnace passage. We just walked through normal doors and somehow ended up. The door began to open, not swinging outward, sliding open from the inside like something was pushing it. A smell rolled out, decay and sweetness and wrongness. "Run," Maya grabbed Sophie's hand. They ran back the way they'd come, through a doorway that should have led to the chamber passage, but instead opened into the main hallway. They burst into the parlor gasping. Morrison looked up from where she was observing other pairs. "You removed the blindfold. That's breaking the rules." "The house brought us to the chamber," Maya said. The door started opening. Morrison's face showed no surprise. "The house knows who's ready. It calls them." "I'm not ready. I don't want any part of this." "What you want is irrelevant. The house has chosen you. That makes things simpler." Morrison turned to the room. Everyone stopped. New announcement. Maya Hartwell will be the first initiate. On October 27th, she'll enter the chamber first. The rest of you will follow in order of the house's choosing. The other pledges stared at Maya with a mixture of fear and relief. Relief that it wasn't them going first. Sophie stepped away from Maya, putting distance between them. Maya felt her phone buzz. A text from Victoria. "They're accelerating, focusing on you. They think breaking you will break the resistance. Don't let them isolate you." Too late. The other girls were already pulling back, treating Maya like she was contaminated, marked for death. Only Jessica, Priya, Rachel, Amy, and Chen remained close. "We need to act now," Priya whispered, "before they separate us." That night, the 6 of them met in Maya's room. Jessica had stolen a key to Morrison's office during the trust exercise. They waited until 2 a.m. when the house went quiet, then crept downstairs. Morrison's office was locked, but the stolen key worked. Inside, the walls were covered with photographs. Every pledge class going back to 1887. Dozens of photos, dozens of girls, all standing in the same circle formation. "Look at this," Amy pointed to a filing cabinet. Inside were folders on every current pledge, medical records, psychological evaluations, family histories, information that should have been private. Maya found her own file. Inside was a note from her Aunt Alina. "Maya is strong-willed but desperate for belonging. Lost her mother young. Craves family connection. Recommend targeting her with promises of reunion with deceased mother. If she breaks, the others will follow." Maya's hands shook. Every word was calculated. Her aunt had told Morrison exactly how to manipulate her. "There's more," Chen said from Morrison's desk. She held up a leather journal, old but not ancient, recent. "It's Morrison's diary. She writes about every cycle she's participated in." Priya grabbed it and flipped through pages. 1994, here. Victoria proved stronger than expected. She survived when she should have died. The entity was pleased with her, but she escaped before full transformation. We allowed it. Having a survivor outside the house creates an additional layer of fear for future cycles. Plus, the binding ensures she can't truly interfere. "So they wanted Victoria to escape," Rachel said. "It was part of the plan." "Keep reading," Jessica urged. Priya flipped more pages. 2024 preparations. Have selected 20 candidates from applicant pool. Prioritized girls with trauma backgrounds. Death of parent, divorce, abuse. These girls want belonging desperately enough to overlook red flags. Special focus on Maya Hartwell, Alina's niece. Alina guarantees she can deliver her. Having family participate in the sacrifice makes the ritual more powerful. Maya felt sick. "I was targeted specifically from the beginning." "We all were," Amy said quietly, reading over Priya's shoulder. "Every girl here was chosen because we're vulnerable, easy to manipulate." "There has to be something useful in here," Rachel insisted. "Something we can use against them." Chen found a locked drawer in the desk. She picked it open with a hairpin. Inside was a small black book, much older than Morrison's journal. The cover matched the description of the book Maya had found in the attic room. Is that, Jessica started. A copy, Chen breathed. Or maybe the original, but why would Morrison keep it in her desk instead of the protected room? Maya reached for it carefully. Her palm still bore the burn mark from touching the other book. But this time, nothing happened. She lifted it without pain. It's not protected, she said. This one isn't blood-locked. She opened it. Inside, handwritten in elegant script, was the original binding ritual. The words the 7 founders had used in 1887. The symbols, the sacrifices required, everything. And on the very last page, added in different handwriting, newer. To undo the binding, the words must be spoken in reverse order by 7 willing souls who reject the power offered. But this will kill all who have accepted the ritual's gift. All who have fed on its power will age instantly and die. This includes the founders' spirits still present in the house. Total death toll, approximately 47 souls across all cycles. To save 20, you must murder 47. Choose wisely. The 6 of them stared at the words. 47 people, Amy whispered. If we close the door, 47 people die. 47 monsters, Rachel corrected, who have murdered hundreds of girls over 137 years. But they're still people, Chen said. Living, breathing people, can we really? Yes, Maya said firmly. Yes, we can, because if we don't, 20 girls die this year, and 30 years from now, 20 more, and it keeps going forever. But we need 7 people to read the reversal, Priya said. We only have 6. They looked at each other in the dim office light. We need 1 more, Jessica said. Someone we can trust. Someone willing to commit mass murder to save strangers. There's only one person who might do it, Maya said slowly. Someone who's been trying to stop this for 30 years. Someone who's already damned. Victoria, they all said together. Maya pulled out her phone and texted. We found the reversal ritual. We need you. Will you help us kill 47 people to save 20? The response came immediately. I've been waiting 30 years for someone to ask. Yes. Then we have 7, Maya said. Now we just need to survive until October 27 and figure out how to perform a reversal ritual, while Morrison and her monsters try to feed us to an ancient evil. Rachel laughed, slightly hysterical. Is that all? They heard footsteps in the hallway outside the office. Hide the book, Priya hissed. Maya shoved it into her jacket. They quickly put everything back, turned off the light, and slipped out the office door just as the footsteps rounded the corner. It was Margaret Ashford, the woman from 1964. She looked at them with ancient eyes. Can't sleep, she asked pleasantly. Bathroom, Maya said. All 6 of you. Group trip bonding. Margaret smiled. How lovely. Sisterhood is so important. You'll understand that better in 23 days. She walked past them and continued down the hall. The 6 girls ran back to Maya's room and locked the door. Maya pulled out the black book. In 23 days, they would either reverse the binding and kill 47 people or die trying. No going back now, she said. There never was, Priya replied. Outside, the Crimson House stood dark against the night sky. Inside its walls, 20 girls slept, unaware that 6 of them had just declared war on something older than civilization. The battle for the sorority house had begun. Subscribe to the channel to find out what happens next. The Sorority House Secret, Part 6 of 8. The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of tasks and terror. Each day brought a new ritual designed to break them down. Sleep deprivation exercises, sensory isolation, trust falls that went on for hours, and always the whispers, the promises, the temptations. 3 more girls vanished. Morrison said they'd withdrawn. The remaining 15 knew better. Maya kept the black book hidden in a loose floorboard under her bed. At night, she and her 5 allies studied it by flashlight, memorizing the reversal ritual. 7 people speaking 7 verses in reverse order. It had to be perfect. One mistake and the binding would hold. Victoria appeared twice more. Each time she looked worse, thinner, paler, the curse of her half-life eating away at her. "The door is getting stronger," she told them during her last visit. "It knows something's wrong. It's been feeding on the fear of the other pledges, but it can sense resistance. It's trying to identify who's planning to betray it." "Can it read minds?" Amy asked. "Not exactly, but it can taste intention, smell rebellion. You need to act like you've given in. Pretend you want the power. The more convincing you are, the less it will suspect." So they pretended, Maya especially. She stopped fighting the tasks, started asking questions about the ritual, acted curious instead of terrified. Morrison ate it up, believing she'd broken Maya's will. "Your aunt will be so pleased," Morrison said one afternoon. "She was worried you were too stubborn, but I told her you were smart enough to see the opportunity we're offering." Maya smiled through gritted teeth. "I just want to understand it better, the transformation, what it feels like." "It feels like being reborn, like shedding your weak human shell and becoming something magnificent. You'll see on October 27th. 10 days before the ritual, Maya's Aunt Alina arrived at the house. She looked exactly as Maya remembered. Glossy dark hair, smooth skin, expensively dressed. 63 but appearing 40, the evidence of the ritual's power. "Maya's sweetheart," Alina embraced her. "I'm so proud of you." Maya hugged back, fighting the urge to scream. This woman had sent her here to die, had marked her for sacrifice, had told Morrison exactly how to manipulate her. "I read your file," Maya said quietly. "The one in Morrison's office. I know what you did." Alina pulled back, surprised. Then she laughed. "Of course you did. You're clever. I always knew that. And yes, I told Morrison how to reach you, because I wanted you to have what I have. Power, immortality, freedom from aging and death and fear. Is that so terrible? 6 girls will die. 6 weak girls who would have lived mediocre lives. You're not weak, Maya. You'll survive. I survived. We'll be sisters forever. Literally." "What about my mother, your sister? What would she think of this?" Alina's face hardened. "Your mother was weak. She died at 37 from cancer because she was weak. If she'd had the power I have, she'd still be alive. Don't use her to guilt me." Maya felt rage building but forced it down. She had to play the role, had to keep Alina convinced. "You're right," Maya said. "I'm sorry, I'm scared." Alina's expression softened. "Everyone is scared before their first ritual, but you'll be fine. And afterward we'll have eternity together. I'll teach you everything. How to use the power, how to move through the world without aging, how to ensure your place in the next cycle. It's a gift, Maya. Accept it." That night, Maya told the others about the conversation. "She's completely lost," Jessica said. "She doesn't even see what she's become." "She sees," Priya corrected. "She just doesn't care. She's had the power for 30 years. It's corrupted her completely." "How many will be like her?" Chen asked. "When we do the reversal, how many will die who don't deserve it?" "None of them deserve it," Rachel said firmly. "They all participated. They all fed the door. They're all guilty." "But some were victims first," Amy argued. "They were pledges like us. They survived the ritual, but it changed them, twisted them. Are they really responsible for what they became?" Maya looked at the black book, the reversal ritual, the death sentence for 47 souls. "Yes," she said. "They're responsible because at some point they had a choice. They could have refused, could have run, could have warned others. Instead, they chose power, chose immortality, chose to feed more girls to the door every generation. That's not being a victim. That's being complicit." "Even your aunt?" Jessica asked gently. "Especially my aunt. She sent me here knowing I might die. That's not love. That's sacrifice, human sacrifice, and she deserves what's coming." 5 days before the ritual, Morrison announced the final pre-initiation task, the Crimson Walk. "Each of you will walk through the house alone at midnight," Morrison explained. "From the attic to the basement, You'll encounter 7 stations. At each station, you'll face a test: physical, mental, or spiritual. Complete all 7 and you're ready for initiation. Fail even one and you're not strong enough. What happens if we fail? Someone asked. Morrison smiled. You don't want to know. That night at midnight, Maya was the first to walk. She started in the attic in her own room. The first station was simple: a mirror with a question written on it. What do you see? Maya looked at her reflection. Tired, scared, angry, but alive, still human. I see someone who refuses to become a monster, she said. The mirror cracked. Then the cracks formed words: proceed. The second station was in a 3rd-floor bedroom. A table with 7 candles and a knife. Instructions written on a card: spill your blood to light the way. Maya picked up the knife. Her burned palm throbbed. She made a small cut on her other hand and let blood drip onto each candle. They lit with crimson flames. The 3rd station was on the 2nd floor. A door that wouldn't open. No handle, no keyhole, just a symbol carved into the wood. Maya traced the symbol with her bloody finger. The door swung open. The 4th station was in the main hallway. A choice: 2 doors, one labeled power and one labeled peace. She had to choose one. Maya almost chose peace, almost walked through that door to whatever test waited, but then she understood. The test was the choice itself. Everyone would expect her to choose peace, to reject power. But someone planning to do the reversal ritual would choose power, would pretend to want it, would be convincing. Maya walked through the power door. On the other side was Professor Morrison. Good choice, Morrison said. Most girls choose peace. They think it's the noble option. But the ritual doesn't want nobility, it wants hunger, ambition, desire. You're learning. The 5th station was in the dining room. A feast laid out, beautiful food. But it all smelled wrong, rotten underneath the pretty presentation. Instructions: eat and accept nourishment from the house. Maya stared at the food. If she ate it, would it bind her somehow, make her part of the house? But if she refused, would she fail the test? She picked up a single grape and ate it. It tasted like ashes and meat and copper. She forced herself to swallow. The 6th station was in the kitchen. A phone, instructions: call someone you love and say goodbye. Maya picked up the phone. It was connected. She could call anyone. Jessica upstairs, her aunt in Boston, an old friend from high school. She dialed her aunt's number. Alina answered on the 2nd ring. Maya, it's 2 a.m. I know, I just wanted to say, I understand now. What you were trying to give me, I'm sorry I fought it. A long pause, then Alina's voice warm with pleasure. Oh, sweetheart, I knew you'd come around. You're ready, aren't you? Ready to join us? Yes, Maya lied, I'm ready. I'm so proud of you. 5 more days and you'll be reborn. We'll be together forever. Forever, Maya echoed, then hung up. The 7th and final station was the basement. Of course. Maya descended the stairs. At the bottom, the hidden passage was wide open, the chamber visible beyond, the iron door standing ajar. Instructions carved into the floor: enter and face what waits. Maya walked through the passage into the chamber. The iron door was open just enough to see darkness beyond, and in that darkness, something moved. A voice spoke from the void, the same voice that had whispered to her during the basement vigil. Ancient, wrong, hungry. Maya Hartwell, you've come so far past every test, proven yourself worthy. Now face me, look at what you'll become part of. The darkness shifted, forming a shape. Not exactly human, not exactly anything. A mass of shadow and hunger and ancient power. It had faces that appeared and disappeared, hands that reached and dissolved, mouths that opened and closed. I am the sum of all who came before, it said. Every girl who accepted the ritual, every sister who fed me, every soul who chose power over peace. They're all here, all part of me, and in 5 days you'll join them, become part of something eternal. What if I refuse? Maya asked. Then you die, and your energy feeds me anyway. But it's so much better if you choose it, if you walk through willingly. The power is greater, the transformation more complete. Choose me, Maya, choose forever. Maya stared at the thing. This is what her aunt had become part of. This is what waited for all of them. I need time to think, Maya said. You have 5 days, but know this, I can taste your friend's resistance. I know 6 of you are planning something, it won't work. The binding is too strong, the ritual too old. Whatever you're planning, it will fail, and you'll all die screaming. The door slammed shut. Maya ran back through the passage, up the stairs into the main house. Morrison was waiting. You completed all 7 stations. Well done. You're the first pledge ever to finish the Crimson Walk without breaking. You're ready for initiation. Maya forced a smile. Thank you. That night she gathered her 5 allies in her room. It knows, she said. The entity knows we're planning something. It's confident we'll fail, but it knows we're trying. Then we move up the timeline, Priya said. We do the reversal ritual early, before October 27th. Catch them off guard. We can't, Maya said. The ritual has to happen on the exact anniversary, October 27th at midnight. That's when the binding is weakest. Any other time and it won't work. So we have 5 days, Jessica said. 5 days to survive, to keep pretending, to stay alive until we can do the reversal. And hope Victoria can help us when the time comes, Amy added. Chen pulled out the black book. We should memorize this, all of us, in case something happens to the book. If it gets taken or destroyed, we need to be able to speak the words from memory. They spent the rest of the night memorizing. 7 verses, 7 people, perfect pronunciation required. As the sun rose, Maya looked at her 5 allies. In 5 days, they would either save 15 girls and kill 47 monsters, or they would die trying. No matter what happens, Maya said, thank you for believing me, for fighting with me, for being actual sisters instead of whatever twisted thing this sorority was supposed to be. They joined hands, 6 girls against an ancient evil. The final countdown had begun. Subscribe to the channel to find out what happens next. The Sorority House Secret, Part 7 of 8. October 27th, 2024, the day of the ritual. Maya woke to find crimson robes laid out on every pledge's bed. 15 girls, 15 robes. By midnight, Morrison promised they would all be transformed, one way or another. The day passed in surreal slowness. Morrison kept them separate, isolated in their rooms. Meditation and preparation, she called it. Really, it was to prevent them from talking, from planning, from backing out. At 6 p.m., they were allowed to gather for a final meal. The dining room was decorated with black candles and crimson fabric. It looked like a funeral, which Maya supposed it was. Alina sat at the head of the table, radiant. Tonight, Maya joins me in immortality. I've waited so long for this moment. Maya smiled back, bile rising in her throat. In 6 hours, her aunt would be dead, aged 30 years in seconds, and Maya would be the one who killed her. At 9 p.m., Morrison began the preparations. She led them down to the basement, not the modern section, the old part, through the hidden passage to the chamber. The iron door stood wide open now. Beyond it, darkness, but not empty darkness, moving darkness, alive with hunger. You'll enter one at a time, Morrison explained. Starting with Maya, she's earned the honor of going first. Each of you will face the entity. It will offer you a choice. Accept its power or reject it. Those who accept will transform. Those who reject will feed it. Either way, the ritual is completed. The 15 pledges stood in a semicircle around the door. Maya caught Jessica's eye, then Priya's, then Rachel's, Amy's, and Chen's, her 5 allies, ready. Victoria was supposed to manifest at midnight, when the binding was weakest. That was when they'd do the reversal ritual. 7 people speaking 7 verses, breaking the binding, killing everyone who'd accepted its power. But midnight was 3 hours away, and Maya had to go through that door now. "I'm ready," Maya said, stepping forward. Eleanor hugged her. "I'll see you on the other side, sweetheart, as sisters, forever." Maya walked through the door. The darkness swallowed her immediately. She couldn't see the chamber behind her, couldn't see anything, just infinite black. Then shapes began to form, faces, the girls who died here, dozens of them spanning 137 years, all staring at her with empty eyes. Maya Hartwell. The entity's voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "You fought so hard, resisted so long, but here you are anyway, at the threshold, facing the choice." "I know what you are," Maya said to the darkness. "You're a predator. You feed on potential, on youth, on futures not yet lived. I'm evolution. I take what would be wasted and transform it into power, into immortality. Your aunt understands. She's been feeding me for 30 years, and look what I've given her in return. You've made her a murderer. I've made her eternal, and I can do the same for you. Accept my gift. Let me in. Become part of something greater than your small human life." The darkness pressed closer. Maya felt it probing her mind, searching for the right lever, the right temptation. "I can bring back your mother," it whispered. "Not just show you an illusion. Actually bring her back, remake her body, give her life. All you have to do is say yes." Maya's breath caught. Her mother, actually alive, not just a memory or a dream. "You're lying." "I never lie. I make deals. I offer trades. Your acceptance in exchange for your mother's resurrection. It's within my power. I've accumulated so much energy over the centuries. I can bend reality, reshape it, bring back the dead, if you want it badly enough." Maya saw her mother's face forming in the darkness, smiling, reaching for her. "Maya, baby, I've missed you so much. Come to me. Say yes and we can be together again." Tears ran down Maya's face. Every fiber of her being wanted to believe it, wanted to say yes, wanted her mother back. But she thought of the bones in the chamber, the 6 girls who died in 1994, the 6 who died in 1964, all the girls across all the years who'd been promised something they couldn't resist. "No," Maya said, "you're using my grief against me. My mother is dead, and nothing you offer is worth becoming what you are." The image of her mother twisted, became something horrible. "Then you're a fool, and you'll die here." Tendrils of darkness shot toward her. Maya screamed. Then she was back in the chamber, on the floor, gasping, the other pledges staring at her. Morrison looked disappointed. "She rejected it, surprising. I really thought she'd accept." "I did accept," Maya lied, forcing herself to stand. "It's done. I can feel it, the change." Eleanor frowned. "You don't look different." "It takes time," you said. "The transformation is internal first." Maya looked around at the other pledges. Some looked terrified, some looked curious. Who's next? Over the next 2 hours, the other pledges went through. Some came out crying, some came out screaming, some came out changed with black eyes and cold skin. They'd said yes, accepted the power. Jessica, Priya, Rachel, Amy, and Chen all pretended to accept. Like Maya, they lied about the transformation. Morrison grew suspicious but couldn't prove they were faking. By 11:30 p.m., all 15 had gone through. 9 had genuinely accepted. 6 had faked it, and the ritual was almost complete. "Now comes the sealing," Morrison announced. "We form a circle, join hands, channel our combined energy through the door. The binding renews, the pact continues, and the entity grants us another 30 years of power." They formed a circle around the door. Maya held Eleanor's hand on one side and a girl named Hannah who'd accepted the ritual on the other. Hannah's hand was ice cold, already dead inside. Morrison began chanting in a language Maya didn't recognize. The other senior sisters joined in. Eleanor, Margaret Ashford, 3 others, all ancient, all sustained by the entity's power. The air grew thick. The door pulsed with darkness. The entity was feeding, growing stronger with each word of the chant. Maya looked at the clock on her phone, hidden in her robe pocket. 11:57 p.m. 3 minutes until midnight. 3 minutes until Victoria could manifest. 3 minutes until they could attempt the reversal. Morrison's chant grew louder. The entity's presence pressed into the chamber. Maya could feel it trying to get inside her mind again, searching for a crack, a weakness. 11:58 p.m. Alina squeezed Maya's hand. Can you feel it, the power flowing through us? You're part of the sisterhood now, forever. 11:59 p.m. The door began to close. The ritual was almost complete. Once it sealed, the binding would renew. The entity would be locked in for another 30 years, fed and satisfied. Midnight. The clock struck 12 times, the anniversary, the weakest point of the binding. Victoria appeared in the center of the circle, solid, real. More alive than she'd looked in weeks. Now, she shouted. Maya, Jessica, Priya, Rachel, Amy, and Chen pulled away from the circle. Victoria made 7. They formed their own circle around Victoria, pulled out the black book from Maya's robe, and began speaking the reversal ritual. What are you doing? Morrison shrieked. Stop them. But it was too late. The words were already spoken, ancient words in reverse order, undoing the binding. The entity screamed, a sound that wasn't sound, a vibration that shook reality. Alina tried to grab Maya. No, you'll kill us all. I know, Maya said and kept speaking. The 7 of them spoke the verses together, perfectly synchronized, each word undoing a piece of the binding, each syllable weakening the entity's hold on reality. Morrison collapsed, aging rapidly. Her smooth skin wrinkled, her hair turned white. She screamed as 45 years caught up with her in seconds. Alina fell next. Maya watched her aunt's face twist with horror as she aged from 40 to 70. Her hair fell out in clumps. Her skin sagged. Her eyes clouded. Maya, she gasped, please, I'm your family. You were my family, Maya said, before you became a monster. Alina crumbled to dust. Around the room, all the senior sisters fell. Margaret Ashford, Catherine Winters, all of them aging and dying. Their screams filled the chamber. The 9 pledges who genuinely accepted the ritual collapsed too. Hannah, Sophie, others whose names Maya barely knew, the piece of the entity inside them dying, taking them with it. Keep speaking, Victoria urged, even as her own body began to age. Finish it. They reached the final verse. The 7 of them spoke the last words together. The iron door shattered. The entity beyond it let out one final scream, then imploded, sucked back into wherever it had come from, the doorway closing, the binding broken. Silence. The chamber was full of bodies, 47 dead, just like the book had promised. The 6 pledges who rejected the ritual stood among the corpses, alive, changed, but human. Victoria lay on the ground, aged to her true age, 60-something. Gray hair, wrinkled face, but smiling. You did it, she whispered. You actually did it. Will you be okay? Maya asked, kneeling beside her. I'm free. For the first time in 30 years, I'm free. The curse is broken. I can finally rest. Victoria's eyes closed. Thank you. She stopped breathing. Maya stood looking at the carnage around her. Her aunt's dust, Morrison's corpse, 9 dead pledges who'd made the wrong choice, Victoria's peaceful body. What do we do now? Jessica asked. Maya pulled out her phone. We call the police, tell them everything, show them the bodies, the journal, the book. We make sure the world knows what happened here. They'll never believe us, Amy said. They don't have to believe the supernatural parts. They just need to see the bodies, see the evidence. The sorority gets shut down permanently. The house gets demolished. The cycle ends. Priya looked at the shattered door, at the darkness beyond that was now truly empty. Is it really over? Yes, Maya said, it's over. They climbed out of the basement, into the house, out the front door, into the night air. Behind them, the Crimson House stood silent, empty of the evil that had lived in its walls for 137 years. By morning, police would swarm it. Investigators would find the bodies. The media would descend. The scandal would destroy the college's reputation. But 6 girls would survive to tell the truth. 6 girls who'd fought an ancient evil and won. Maya looked back at the house one last time, then walked away. She'd come here looking for sisterhood, for belonging, for family. She'd found it, not in a sorority built on murder, but in 5 girls who'd stood with her against the darkness. That was the real sisterhood, the real bond. And it had saved them all. Subscribe to the channel to find out what happens in the final chapter.